Same.
Yeah. Brachas Lamed Aleph, 31. So the Gemara at the end of the previous daf said that that Mar Braid Ravina made a party for his son, probably a wedding, and the Chachamim, and he saw that the Chachamim were making jokes. You know, they were having a good time. But remember, we quoted a Gemara that Simcha has to be mixed with fear. So I see Kasa de Mukra Bas Arba Me'azuzi. He requested that a expensive glass worth $400, Zuzim, the Tovrak, when he broke it in front of them, the Yatzvu, and then they got sad. That means he thought they were too happy. And we're going to see in a minute why you shouldn't be so happy. And he broke a glass in front of them. Now, we Jews have a custom that whenever somebody breaks a glass, you say Mazel Tov.
Yeah.
Now, I think we do it because when a chassan gets married, he steps on a glass, or the mothers break a plate.
I was going to ask you. What?
But it seems from here this concept that the breaking of a glass is connected with when you're happy, because you shouldn't be too happy. You should always have something like he broke a glass so that they wouldn't be too happy. Ravashi Avadi Lula Lebre. Same thing. Ravashi made a wedding party for his son. Chazil Rabbanon Dav Kabat Chituva. He saw that they were having too good of a time. I see Kasa the Zugas Achirta. He brought a white glass, which I guess was very expensive. The Torah Kabayu. He broke it. V'yatzva, they got sad. Omer Rabbanon Rav Huna Zuti the Behilul the Marbre Ravina. That at the wedding of the Marbre Ravina L'Shoi Lanmar, what did you sing to them? Omer Lahu Vailan de Maisinon, Vailan de Maisin. He reminded them of the day of death. That because yes, you're happy now, but you got to you have to realize where we are. Omer Le Anan Mana Ani Batrecha. What should the response of that song be? Omer Le Hey Torah Hey Mitzvah. The Magnola, where's the Torah? Where are the mitzvahs that will protect us from death? The Gaonim explained that since the Churban, and since we've been in Golus, that's what this is referring to, that a person shouldn't really let his mouth be filled with laughter in this world. Because then, when Mashiach comes, we'll have the rebuilding Beis Hamikdash, then our mouths will be full of laughter. When the Goyim recognize, that there's going to be a big simcha. Amar Lav Reish Lakish, Shemiyamal V'Malis Chok Pid B'Lamazeh. In fact, Reish Lakish, who had learned this from his Rebbe, Rav Yochanan, throughout his life, never filled his mouth with laughter. Mechisham Rav Yochanan, once he heard this halacha from Rav Yochanan and his Rebbe. Torah. Ein oimdim lispalel. One should not start. We're on Lamed Aleph. Lamed Aleph. Ton Rabbanan, where the two dots are. About 10 lines from the bottom. 10 lines from the top. Ton Rabbanan. In oimdim lispalel. Person should not be prepared to daven. Lo mitoch din. If he was sitting in a bezdin and having a debate, that's not a time to daven. V'lo mitoch dvar halacha. When you're discussing halacha and you don't have a final psak, you're still debating it. That's also not the right time to daven. Yet your mind has to be calm, and these things like din. And disputing halacha creates stress and anxiety. Elami talk halacha psuka. You should daven after citing a halacha that's well accepted, that there is no debate about that halacha. Give me an example of what you mean that about a halacha that's accepted halacha. Amr Abai Kihad Rav Zeira, Dam Rav Zeira, Bnos Yisrael Echmir Latzman, Shafilu Rose Tipas Dan Kachad Vel Yoshevas El Shiva Nikim. That Jewish girls accepted a chumrah on themselves that even if they see blood one day, they treat it as Zayin Nikiyim. Because that's not Minat Torah. Minat Torah, there's a Zayin Yimei Nidus followed by 11 days of Zivus. So during the Zayin Yimei Nidus, if a woman was bleeding during her Nidus period, so as long as she stopped bleeding on the 7th day, she could go to the mikveh and have relations with her husband that night, even though she bled that day. So of course, that's not our halacha today. Then during the 11 days of Zivus, she could be a shomeres yom keneged yom. She would see blood one day, then she would watch herself the next day. If she didn't have any bleeding, she'd go to the mikveh. She could have relations with her husband that night. So that's also only after one day of bleeding. No. So the Benos Yisrael, after a certain period of time, accepted a chumrah on them that whenever they see blood, they don't know, maybe this is the 3rd day of being a Zava Gdola, which requires Zayin Nikiyim, which requires a count of 7 days, 7 clean days. So because of that, so that's an example of a halacha that's accepted by everybody. It's not debated. Rava Amar, another example of a halacha psuka, ki had Rav Yishad Amar Rav Yisham mari maldam atfuaso umachnisa b'mot shelo kedei shetei behem tochelas uptum namaiser. That normally you have grain, and in order for the grain not to be tevel, you have to take trumas and maisrus. Right? You take 1/50th, which is a malkum bein, which is a beinani for truma. Then you take 1/10 for the Levi, and then you take 1/10 for meiser sheni in the 1st, 2nd, and 4th and 5th years of the Shemitah cycle. In the 3rd and 6th year of the Shemitah cycle, instead of meiser sheni, which you could eat because you could take it up to Yerushalayim and eat it, the meiser sheni was given to aniyim. It was called meiser ani. You just gave it away to the aniyim. But anyways, once you're metakin all of that produce, then you can use it for your benefit. Otherwise, you can't. However, there are loopholes. If you brought the grain into your house with all the sort of the chaff attached to it, which was fed to animals, you could already feed it to the animals without taking meiser. It's because you brought it in this way, and that's a halacha psuka. V'boy same if you want. I'll give you another answer. Ki had Rav Huna Rav Huna Rav Zeira. Hamekis da bebeim is kodshim. So you have an animal that's been designated as kodshim. Someone said harezu shlomim, harezu chatas, and the animal was sick, and they needed to drain blood from it. They needed to draw blood, like to do a phlebotomy. So osir bana, that blood is osir bana, even though normally there's no me'ila bedam. We're going to learn there's a special exclusion in Kodshim by Dam, that there's usually no Me'ila if you benefit from, but that's something that was shechted, and then you collected the blood to do kapara. There's no Me'ila. It's because the Torah says I gave it to you for kapara, not Me'ila. But this blood is being drawn from an animal, so you have the Dam, that Dam you may not use, and if you use it, you're chayiv fertilizer, paint, soap, whatever you do with that, whatever they did with blood, they used it in the industry. Rabbanan Avdi Kimasnisin Ravashi, Rabbanan Avdi Kimasnisin, Ravashi Avdi Kibbaraisa. That means the Mishnah said that you should daven with a kovid roish, and Ravashi said you should do it mitoch halacha psuka. So there were different paskening how people went to daven their Shmona Esrei. Some did it from just kovid roish, being very serious, and the other did it after reading a halacha psuka. Torah bonnet. In omim lispalel lo mitoch atzvus, you should not be sad before you daven. Lo mitoch atzvus, not laziness. V'lo mitoch schok, not too much laughter. V'lo mitoch sicha, not having discussions with people. Certainly lo mitoch kalus rosh. Kalus rosh is like laughing or having a joke. V'lo mitoch dvarim betelim, just stam battling. Ela mitoch simcha shel mitzvah. The opportune time to daven is coming from simcha. And that's why we are soymech geula l'tefillah, because the geula mitzrayim, or for example, Rashi says tehillah l'David, like when we say Ashrei, which is shvach, and tanchumim, Shalom Hashem es kol ha'ava, and all of their various psukim in Baruch Hashem Yoim Yoim. So that gives you simcha shel mitzvah, and that's the added psychological attitude you should have before you daven. V'chein, a similar halacha, lo yifter adam echaveru. Let's say you've visited your friend and you're leaving and you're taking leave from your friend. You're not going to see him for a week, or you're not going to see him for a few days. When you say goodbye, lo mitoch sicha, you shouldn't just stamazoi leave him after talking to him. Lo mitoch schok, not through a joke. Lo mitoch kalas roish, lightness, not being serious. Lo mitoch dvarim betelim, and lo mitoch dvar halacha. You should, like when they say Yaakov Avinu and Yosef, we're learning the sugya of Egla Rufa, the last time they had spoken. That's why Yosef sent Simonim of the Agolos, because they remembered what halacha they were learning before they left. And that's always how you should leave somebody. Mitoch dvar halacha. Shekein matzinu b'neviim harishonim. The early Nevi'im, shesaimu divreim b'divrei shvach v'tanchumim. That they also always ended up on a happy note. They didn't end up on a bad note. That's why, for example, when we read, we always end up with a happy. We say Shivenu Hashem Elech Nashuva Chodesh Yemen Kekedem, the end of Eicha. But then there's another pasuk that's more negative, but we finalize it with a happy pasuk. We read it again. V'chein Torah Ma'abrei Rav Huna Brei Rav Yirmiyah Bar Abba Al Yiftor Adam Chavero El Mitoch Dvar Halacha Shemitoch Kach Zochreyu. That way you'll remember him. Oh, the last time I was with Joe, we learned this in this halacha. Kihad Rav Kahana, the story of Rav Kahana, Al Voil Rav Simi Bar Ashi, he accompanied Rav Simi, Mi Pumnara ad Beit Tzni to Bavel, from Pumnara to Beit Tznitzah, which were places in Bavel. Because there's a mitzvah Lavoy as well. When they got to the place, Amalei Mar, Vade da Amri Inshi, Hani Tznitzah de Bevovel Isnu, Me'odam Arishon Vad Hashta. There were palm trees there. And he said, these palm trees have probably been here since the time of Odom Arishon. Amr Lay, when he heard that, he said, Ad Kirtan Milsad Rav Yosef Rav Chanina, you made me remember a word of Rav Yosef, the Amr Rav Yosef Rav Chanina, Ma'idich Siv, it says in Pasuk Bo Aretz, Ashalo Ovar Bar Ish, V'lo Yoshev Adam Sham. It's a land that nobody traveled through, and nobody settled there. So I understand, it's repetitious. V'chemiachet Delo Ovar Ba, Heich Yoshev, if nobody had ever walked there, how could they settle there? It's certainly, and Lomelcha, it teaches me a different din. Kol Eretz Shegozra Alea Adam Arishon Liyishuv, Is Yashva. Adam Arishon did a tour of the whole civilized world. And he said, these are places where civilization will settle, and these are not, like the Sahara Desert. He said, this is not going to be a Mokum Yishuv. But other places, he said, it's going to be a Mokum Yishuv. And Adam Arishon placed a stempel on that. Right? So this Bavel place had palm trees from the time of Adam Arishon. Rav Mordechai Alvayl Rav Simi Bar Ashi. In a similar fashion, Rav Mordechai accompanied Rav Simi Bar Ashi, Meha Grunya va'ad Beikipi, from Grunya to Beikipi. Va'amri la ad Beidora. Other places, it was even further, to a place called Beidora, which is even a longer zman for him to accompany his friend. Torah. When you daven, you should have kavana for shemayim. The pasuk says, "Tachin libam, takshiv oznecha." If you prepare your heart, the ear will hear. Hashem will respond. Tanya, Amir this was the custom of Rabbi Akiva. K'shayim ispalel matzibur. Hayim mekatzer. If he was the chazan, he didn't schlep a benkel. He was short. V'oilim ne torchat tzibur. Right? He was concerned about torchat tzibura. K'shayim ispalel ben ola ben atzma. When he davened by himself, he would spend more time. He was so entranced in his kavanah The guy, you would leave him in one corner, you'd find him later on in another corner, because he was so engrossed in his kavanah. How did he get to another corner? Kol kach lamim, they kriyas v'shtachlos. In bowing down every time by moedim, etc., he had moved from one side of the room to the other side of the room. Orach Yebarab, lo yom yispal adam b'bayis, sheyesh bo chalonos. If you notice, shuls always have windows. And people should always daven in a place that has windows. Because there's a pasuk in Daniel, shenemar v'kivin psichen lei. Daniel davened in a place that had windows. Yachli yispal adam kol yom kulo. I might think a person should spend his whole day davening kvar meforsh al yedei Daniel. The zimnin tlosa. Daniel also said 3 times a day you should daven. So Yachol mishabala goy lahuchla.
What do they mean 3 times a day?
Because there's a pasuk. It says 3. It says shach, and we daven 3 times. Shachris mincha v'arvis. We don't spend a whole. Huh?
We don't need that to know that from Daniel that he davened 3 times.
Why? That's the why? Because the Morris Havamina is maybe you should spend a whole day davening.
But
No, you're saying because we know that Avram was Masakin Shachris. Yeah, but maybe those are that. Maybe we should spend the whole day davening other things.
But it does not say he didn't daven all day. But Dimon Talasa means he davened 3 times. It could be he davened the whole day, but he divided it in 3.
3 different times, because the pasuk talks about Erev, Avokav, and Sorayim. See, there's a pasuk in Daniel. Look in the side there. Erev, Avokav, and Sorayim, Asicha, in Tehillim. Erev, Avokav, and Sorayim, Asicha, ve'maya ve'ishma koili. It's a pasuk in Tehillim. It also says, the pasuk in Daniel says, K'di yodadi roshim ksava alavei. So we gave him psichim labaliyah, so there were openings in the house, that's the window, neged Yerushalayim. V'zimnin plus b'yoymehu barach al berchoy. 3 times a day was he umatzli, did he daven. Umoide kodem alo. And he was moid, he said moidim in front of Hashem. So that's the concept of zimnin plus. Yachol mishabala goy lehuchla. That means maybe the tefillah from Vayichal Moshe, and maybe this tefillah didn't exist before they went into Golus. Kvar Nemar, Dayu Avid min Kadmos Tana. No, because Daniel said, no, we're just carrying on a practice that was done before. Right? Because Daniel was also part of the Anshe Knesset. We know that the Shemona Esrei was established by the Anshe Knesset Gdola. That's the time of Ezra Sofer and Ezra Nehemiah, and Daniel is in the same. He's in the same era. So you might think maybe there was no davening like this prior. So Daniel says, no, there was davening. But it existed Kodem, Kad Madonna. So I might think you could daven any direction you want. Talmud Lomar. Daniel said, Neged Yerushalayim. It was in a pasuk in Daniel. I might think you would just put one tefillah together. So kvar mepur shal yedei David ichsiv erev avokav et sarayim asiach emayim. That's the pasuk in the Tehillim. So yachol yashmir kol b'tfilah. So maybe you should daven the way I'm talking here in the shir. That means you should hear. Maybe you should do it with a full voice. So kvar mepur shal yedei Chana shenemar v'koila lo yishma. So we're going to learn a lot of dinim now from Chana when she davened there. We read that Haftorah in the first day of Rosh Hashanah. So it says there, Chana's voice wasn't heard. Yachol yishalot and tzrachav b'achakach yispalel. Now, maybe a person should ask for his needs and then daven. So kvar mefurish like Shlomo shenemar lishmoa el arina v'latfila. So first it says rina, then tefillah. Rina zu tefillah. Tefillah zu bakasha. Tefillah means shvach v'hodah. Like we do. We first say Psukah de Zimra, and then even in the first brachas of Shemona Esrei, Magen Avraham, these are all praises. We don't start bakashas of atachoinen until we praise Hashem. So we learn that from Elishmo El Arina. Rina is shvach v'hodah, and the tefillah is the bakashas. Ein oimer dover achar emes v'yotziv. Now, you shouldn't say any after Emes V'Yotziv because you still have to have Gulas Mitzrayim and you still have to have the first 3 brachos that praise Hashem. Only then can you have bakashas. So there's a seder. Acharat tefillah fila kaseder vida shli ma kippur moimer. After you finish Shmona Esrei and you're Elkain Tzor, you can daven a whole day. You can like saying Vidu of Yom Kippur. Person could have his own personal bakashas. Halacha is in every one of the brachas, Atachoyne, Rafa'enu, you can expand in your own mind. And the concept of Rafa'enu, you could ask refuahs for somebody, for yourself, or for whatever.
I mean, you have
And then by Elokain and Tzor, you can put it all together. In those brachas, you're supposed to do like the bracha of Parnasa of Birchas, Brachas Hashanim. When we say that, there you can talk about Parnasa. If you want to talk about Hashiva Shoftim, you want better judgment or whatever, it has to be with it.
What about by Shema Kolenu?
You mean a Shomea Tefillah, also a general one, but the general one. Let me see, because I saw. Because you notice there's
Your cough, no?
here it says Itmar Nami Amar Chibarash Imrav Ava B'Shamar Shalodam Tzrachav B'Shomea Tefillah. So you can also Shomea Tefillah is also a general category, but as well as that in Baal Loimer Achat Tefillah Tefillah Kasei Shuri Kimoimer, and in Elkain Tzor you can go even on and on and on and on even longer. Omer Rav Nuna, Kama Hilchasa Gavrusa Ikala Mishma Mahani Kroy Dechama. Look how many powerful halachas regarding tefillah did we learn from Chana. Because it says V'chana hi medaberes aliba. It says she was speaking her heart. Mikan lemispal tzar shechavin libo. So here's the source that you have to have kavanah. So we talked. You only have to have kavanah for the first paragraph, not for the whole Shmona Esrei. Now. It says, Rak svaseha naos. Only her lips were moving. It's not enough to think about atachoinin. It's not enough to think in your mind the atachoin adam das without. You have to enunciate with your lips. You enunciate without your neighbor hearing, but you do cut. The lashon of the Gemara is yachtov bisvasav. You have to cut it with your lips. You have to say it with your lips. But v'kol lo yishma, mikan she'asur b'yakola b'tfiloso. You can't have somebody next to you hear what you're saying. Then it says v'yakshavel l'shikoira, and Eli HaKohen, when he saw this woman doing like this, she was mouthing words and he didn't hear anything. He thought she was meshugana or drunk. Mikan sheshikor asur lispalo. You're not allowed to daven Shmona Esrei. That's why you're also not allowed to duchen. You can't do Nesias Kapayim. That's why on Simchas Torah we have the Kohanim duchen and shachris, because they're not allowed to drink. Because we make kiddush after getting aliyah. So the same thing. There's an issue with tefillah as well. Vayomer Eleha Eli ad matai tishtakrin, right? And Eli actually gave her tochacha. How, what are you coming in here being drunk? In fact, if you see your friend doing something that's not correct, you're supposed to be mochechet. Now you have to know how to do it.
Especially in today's generation.
You have to do it in a nice way. I saw you do that. That's not really the halacha. You should probably do it this way. It's better. Or like sometimes we see by Kiddush Levana, I see people, they're not standing. You're supposed to say Kiddush Levana without something over your roof. So you say, you know what the halacha is, you're supposed to do it. People if they didn't know that halacha, they appreciate to learn that halacha. And they say, okay, I will, if they don't want to do something and not get the schar for it, so there's a way to do it. So, and not only that, you're required to do it. Tzarich lo ydiel. Then it says, Vatan Chana v'tomer lo Adoni. Now Chana didn't just take it. She responded and said, no, you know what, I was not drunk. And we learn a halacha from that. Amar ula v'itemer Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina. Amar le lo adon atov b'davar zeh. First of all, you're not the master over this. V'lo ruach hakodesh shalom. Obviously, right, Eli, remember, was the shofet of the generation who had ruach hakodesh. Obviously, there was some lacking there, otherwise, because he would have known that she was not drunk. The fact that you are suspecting me this. Lo adonata, lav ike shechina v'ruach HaKodesh kabech. You don't have the shechina and v'ruach HaKodesh with you. Shedantani l'kaf choiva, v'lo dantani l'kaf schus. You should have thought that I was doing something good, not bad. You didn't. You treated me harshly. Milo yadati isha kashas ruach hanochi. Didn't you know that I was depressed? V'yayin v'shechar lo shasisi, and I had not drunk wine. So here we learn halacha. Amar Elazar mikam lenechsha b'davar she'ein bo shetzarich lo dio. So let's say I was choshid in somebody, that he was doing something wrong. And I told him, you're doing something wrong. So if you really weren't doing something wrong and I was mistaken, you have an obligation to inform me. You're not right. I really wasn't doing that. You thought maybe I was doing it, but I wasn't. And it's important for the person who was suspected of something to tell the person, no, you're not correct. So then it says, Al titain es amosecha lifnei bas blial. Amasecha refers to like your maidservant. In front of a bas blial, a blial is like a mafia guy. It's a connection that someone who's a drunk, it's like, is he worshipping Avodah Zarah? Why is that? And because Eli thought she was drunk, called her a bas blial. And it says there by Irani Dachas, where people convince a whole city to worship Avodah Zarah, right? So there's a special din by Irani Dachas, right? Normally, if you worship Avodah Zarah, you kill the skila. But if a whole city worships Avodah Zarah, they're killed with hereg. They have their head cut off, which is an easier form. But the rechush is destroyed. A regular person who is a murderer, let's say, or is Avodah Zarah, he is skila, but his family inherits him, right? So the Irani Dacha says this unusual din. By the way, one of the Gemaras we're going to learn is going to say Irani Dachas lo hayav lo nivra. It never occurred. And another halacha is ben soyer u'moira. Right. The same sugya there, where they say it also never happened. But but another Tana says no, it did happen, and I saw where he's buried. Or he said there is an Irani Dachas. I'll show you where the mound is. So it's a machlokes tanoim whether or not. So the shaila the Gemara asks it over there. If there's a whole big parsha in the Torah that discusses Ben Sorah and Morer and the parsha of Irani Dachas. So if it never happened, then what was the point of the Torah writing it? What does the Gemara say? Drosh v'kabel schar.
Education, I guess.
Huh?
Also for education.
Drosh. Yeah, we learn things. Like here, we're learning something from Irani Dachas, this connection to Shikr. Because there it says, Yatsu anashim b'nei blial. These mafia guys went out and convinced them to do Irani Dachas. Mikir Becha. Malaholan Avodah Zarah, Kan Avodah Zarah. Okay. Vayan Eli, Vayomer lechi l'shalom. When Chana defended herself, so eventually Eli said, fine, go in peace. He recognized that he had been chastened. Amar Rabbi Elazar, Mikan l'choychet chavera b'dover she'ein bo shetzarich l'faiso. So if I was suspecting somebody of doing something improper, and I told them so, and the guy responded, no, I was not really, I'm required to apologize. That's what it means, tzarich l'faiso. I have to apologize. He apologized by saying, Vayomer lechi l'shalom, that's an act of apology. V'lo od, ela shetzarich levarcho, you have to bench the person. You have to give him a bracha, shenemar, ve'elokei Yisrael yitenes shelasach. She was davening, she didn't have children. And so Eli said, you should have the child the way you're asking for it. Then vatidar neder, she in fact made a neder. Vatomer Hashem tzvokos. And in her tefillah, she called Hashem tzvokos. And the Gemara says, Omer Rabbi Elazar b'yom shebra Kodesh Baruch Hu Salemo, lo haya adam shekor LaKadosh Baruch Hu tzvokos, ad shebasa Chana v'karasu tzvokos. Chana was the first person that called HaKadosh Baruch Hu Hashem tzvokos. Amar Chana l'fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And what's the pshat here? Ribono shel olam, she said. We called tzvoi tzvaos shebaras b'lebecha. The tzvaos are like all of his officers that work for him. Particularly, the Gemara always refers to the sun and the moon and the stars as the tzvokos of Hashem. So Chana basically says to Eli, says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that you created all these things in the universe. Kasha beinecha shetidli ben echad. All I'm asking for is one little son. You created a whole Milky Way, and all I want is one son. Marshal lamad davar doime. What is this like? L'melech basav v'dam. She'asa suda lavodav, who made a suda for his servants. Bo'ani echad. Bo'amar la pesach. A certain poor person came to the door. Amar lem tnuli prusa achas. Give me a little shtickle bread. V'lo yishgichu alav. They didn't listen to him. Dochak v'nichla. He pushed himself in Eitzel HaMelech, right to the king. Amarle. He said to the king, Melech, we close to the shasita, kashavi nechli tenli prusa achas. From this whole banquet, you can't give me one shtickle broit? Of course you can. That was basically what Chana used in her supplications to Hashem in her tefillos. Imra'ot tireh. And she used a double language. The pasuk is like this: Vatidar neder, vatomer Hashem tzvakos. Imra'ot tireh, this sort of double language. Be'oni amasecha, your servant, your maidservant. Uschartani will remember me. V'lo tishkach amasecha, you don't forget me. V'nasata la'amascha zera anoshim, you give to me your maidservant zera anoshim, which means seed of people, means a child. And then what will happen? Untativ l'Hashem kol yemei chayv. I will give him to you his whole life. Umora lo yala rosho. He'll be a nazir, and his hair will never be cut.
It sounds like she's asking for a son.
She is asking for a son.
I mean, not just a child.
Yes, zera anoshim. She asked for a son.
So we know that we learned that you cannot make yourself a nazir, but if you do, why would she choose to make him a nazir?
So she thought that she thought that this would help in her pursuit for a son. That
But that's actually doing
no,
something that's
no. If you remember in Nazir, there was a constant battle in the Sechta Nazir. Some viewed it positively and some viewed it negatively. So
No, but I thought the law was you're not allowed to make yourself a nazir. If you
No,
do make yourself, then
yeah,
okay.
no, but it's not.
Yeah.
No, you're not. It's not a lav to make yourself a nazir. It's not a lav to make yourself a nazir. In general, you shouldn't take nedarim, but it's not a lav, and it's not a good thing, right? According to some tanoim. According to other, remember the Gebrat Gemaras, if somebody was, sees certain flaws in his character, you should go make yourself a nazir.
But yet you have to do the korban.
And then you bring a korban because you're considered a chote. You were moneh yourself from things that normally you're mutter. No, Johnny's asking good, but it must be she was desperate and she thought that this could push HaKadosh Baruch Hu over. Imra'ot tireh. Now, what is this double language? Amar Belazar, Amar Chanuf HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'no Shalom. Imra mutav. If you see my point and you give me the son, good. But then she said, V'imlav tira elecha v'istater. What she was going to do, okay, we know there's a din that if a husband is suspicious of his wife with another man, so he warns her in front of two Eidim, don't sequester yourself with this man. That the warning has to be in front of two Eidim. Okay. Then a second Maisa occurs, and two Eidim actually see her sequester herself with that man. Now, we don't know what's going on in that room. It's a suffix.
So she did,
Meaning,
neither.
if you have Eidim seeing a married woman having relations with another man, so they go to Besdin, they give testimony, and she's taken out and killed. That's real testimony of an act. But here we don't know what happened in that room. We just have testimony that she went in and sequestered. So that triggers the concept of sota, that he has the right to take her to the base of Mikdash, make her drink the sota waters, and then one of the things there is that if she was innocent,
She can go back to her husband.
yes, they can live, and there's Masorah is, the Gemara says, she will have a child. So basically, Chana is like threatening Hashem. She's saying, look, if you give me this son, great. And if not, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to estater b'fnei Elkanah
Put yourself in
Bali.
that situation.
I'm going to make my husband suspicious. The kimet and estater mashkel, and I'm going to be innocent, but they're going to make me drink meisota, and v'yata oisa Torah's plaster, and you're not going to make your Torah, nonsense. Shenemar v'niksav in Israel zara. The pasuk says that if she was innocent, she's going to have a child. That's how much Chana wanted to have a child. Okay. Now, this pshat in Ra'ot Tireh makes sense only according to Hanich Mandomer Haiso Akara Nifkedes Shapir. So there is a Mandomer that holds that if a woman had never had children before and could not, and Akara means something else, she's actually physically incapable of having children, like Sarah Imenu. Sarah Imenu just wasn't. We have a lot of infertile women, and after a few years they have children. It's hard to have, but an Akara is somebody that they say Sarah was an islandess. It means medically she could not have children. She didn't have ovaries. She didn't have hormones possibly to have children. So it's a huge nace when Sarah was nifkeda. Now, so if you have an Akara, there's a din that according to the Mandoma that says if you're a sota you'll be. So Achana was an Akara. So fine, this story works. Elamanda Omer im Haisa Yoledis Bitzar Yoledis Berevach. In fact, this is how we paskin. We don't paskin about Akara. We paskin that if a woman previously would have a lot of pain during childbirth, her next child would not be painful. Or she was only giving birth to nekevos, Yoledis Lechorim. Now she'll give birth to males. Or Shechorim Yoledis Levanim. They were dark, then became white. Ketzorim Yoledis Arukim. They were short, now they become tall. But according to this, it doesn't help an Akara. Echada was an Akara. And so how do you explain? Now, the Tanya, where do we see this? Because it says, V'niksa v'nizra zera. Melamed shem haisa akar nifkedes de Rabbi Shmuel. So Rabbi Shmuel holds that if she's an Akara, the sota process could allow her to have children. Amalei Rabbi Kiva imken yelchu kol akaros kulam v'yistatru. So Rabbi Kiva was worried about this. Then all these women who can't have children will go through this. We don't want this. V'zushalo kilkala nifkedes and go through this. Ela melamed shem haisa yoledes betzar yoledes bereva. If she was had pain, she would not have pain. Ketzorim, if they were short, yoledes arukim. Shchorim yoledes levanim. Echad yoledes shnayim. Or perhaps give birth to twins, or have multiple children. So, according to this pshat, Mayim Ra'ot Tireh, Dibra Torah Kaloshim Ne'odim. Sometimes Ra'ot Tireh is poetic, Shamor Tishmor, whatever. The Torah uses a double language, not to teach me anything, but just Dibra Torah Kaloshim Ne'odim, just like Shakespeare wrote that way. The Torah sometimes writes that way too. Okay, we're continuing to darshan Chana. It says Ba'ani Amasecha. Don't forget me, the poor maidservant. She uses the word amasecha 3 times. Gimel amasa is halalu. Lama amra. You created 3 dinim that a woman could die. What do we say? Erev Shabbos and Chashecha. Hafrashas Chala, Nida, and Hadlakas Haner. That women who are not Zohar in that, it threatens them. So you created these 3 things. And I was very careful to watch all 3 of them. So that's the reason why she mentioned Amasecha 3 times. It's like it's a drush here. Then when Asata Lamasecha Zera Nashim. Gemara doesn't know what that means. What do you mean? Ma'aser Anoshim. Amarav Gavra Begufran means a man among men. She didn't just want an average son. She wanted a superstar. Ushmul Amar Zera Shemoishech Shnei Anoshim. Because Zera Anoshim means a person who's eventually going to anoint 2 people. Uman Inu Shaul v'David. Shmuel Hanavi anointed Shaul to be the king. And then, now remember, the difference is, we should remember, is Shaul was anointed with a pach. David was anointed with a keren. They were anointed differently. When you're anointed with a keren, then your melucha is nimshach. With a pach, it's not nimshach. The Gemara, when we learn the Navi there, we'll go into that. By the way, we have to set a date and the time and all that. Rabbi Yochanan Omer Zera sheshokul kishnei anoshim umay inun Moshe v'Aaron shenemer Moshe v'Aaron b'choyanav u'Shmuel b'Koy. In a sense, Shmuel was compared to two anoshim, Moshe v'Aaron, because they're mentioned in the same pasuk. So when the pasuk says Zera anoshim, the anoshim that's referred to is either the two people that he anointed or the two people that he's compared to, which is Moshe v'Aaron. It's sort of a play on words. Rabbanon Amri, Zera Anoshim, Zera Shemuvlo ben Anoshim. In fact, this Mandamer holds, she wanted a man that just blends in with everybody else. She didn't want a superstar. She wanted a regular person. He didn't want him too tall, not too short, not lame, Beinoni, middle, not too smart, not too dumb, not too white, right? Beinoni. Reminds me, just it's very similar to the Isha Hashunamit, right? There was the Haftorah by Parshas Vayera, by the Akedah. Is the Isha Shunamit who set up an apartment for Elisha, right? And gave him a kisei and a menorah. And then Elisha asked, "What can I do? Is there something can I speak to the king on your behalf?" He asks her. She says, "B'tocha mi ani yoshavas." Her request, no, I just want to be among the people. And I heard Darshanim say, especially like Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, you're not supposed to stand out. You're supposed to be among the people. Be among the people. B'tocha mi ani yoshavas. You see a little hint of this concept here that Chana wanted the Shmuel not to be extraordinary, but just to be among the people. Okay, different, obviously two different approaches. Then, Ani ha'isha nitzeves imachem bazeh. When she came back, so a year later, she was given birth, and then she eventually brings Shmuel to Mishkan Shiloh to Eli, and she says, "I am that woman. Do you remember I was the one who was standing, davening in front of you?" But she says standing. Ani ha'isha nitzeves. Amar Yeshua ben Levi mikan she'osur leishtei b'sochar b'amar shel tefillah. There's a halacha. If someone's davening near you and you're within their 4 amas, you're supposed to stand up. You're not supposed to sit down within 4 amas of a person davening. Why? Because the Shekhinah is there, right? We say when you take the 3 steps back, it's as if you're davening in front of the Shekhinah. So there's a halach. So Eli was also standing when Chana was davening, because he was within her arba amas.
So if somebody's davening and I'm sitting in front of them, but they tell me davening.
Yeah, but there you might be considered like outside of her. You're already in your own rishus there. They might be considered like arba amas. It's a good question. Let's just see what the halacha psuka says. Is Amid Beis. By the way, what does it say? It's a gimel, right?
Ani ha'isha?
No, give me kan she'osur leishev. You see the gimel there?
Oh, yeah.
That's the ein mish. Look at ein mishpat ner mitzvah. So you see the gimel, and it tells you.
Yeah.
It's the Orach Chaim Siman Kuf Beis.
Yeah.
So let's just see if that's correct. Yeah, gimel. Orach Chaim Siman Kuf. That's basically that's what this sefer did. You see, he went to the ein mishpat where the gimel is, and he just brings you the halacha down. Osur leishe b'sochdad amashum ispalo. Bein milfonav bein minad stodim. Tzorach laharchik dalad amas. V'im oisik b'dvorim shehem mit tikunei atfilos. If you yourself are davening or oisik in learning, so if you're learning Torah, you can be sitting and not standing. You're down in Kriya Shema, if you're b'mola enav. So if you're on the side of the person and you're learning, you could sit if the person is standing Shemona Esrei. But that's a halacha psuka. To see what the Mishnah Berurah says there. That's the other thing we should maybe consider bringing as the Mishnah Berurah. He should have, that sefer would be way too big. Elanara zeish palalti. So Chana says, I daven for this child. Amar Belazar. Shmuel. Now, why did he say Elanara? What is this? Why does Chana say it's for this nar that I daven for? Because the Gemara is going to tell us a story that happened there. Shmuel moira alach l'fnei Rabbo Haya. Shmuel, there's a din. If your Rebbe is present, you cannot present a halacha in front of your Rebbe. Not only that, if your Rebbe is in town and he's your Rebbe Mudvik, you can't paskin a shayla without permission of your Rebbe. Some say even with the permission of your Rebbe you can't. Shenema, vayishchetu sapar, vayaviu sanar lel Eli. The pasuk says over there that they shechted a par and then they brought the nar to Eli. What is my inyan shmita etzel Har Sinai? What does the shchit of the par have to do with that? They brought Eli. They brought Shmuel to Eli. So there's a whole story here. Elo Omer and Eli kiru koyen laisi v'lishchit. Eli called out, bring a kohen. Somebody brought a par. So Eli said, okay, get a kohen so he can shech the par and start the process of the korban. Chazina Shmuel, the Havim Mahadrib, was a kohen, lemishchit. Shmuel saw that there was a delay going on because they couldn't find a kohen to do the shechita. Armelahu, lama lechu ladori basar kohen lemishchit. What are you guys running around looking for a kohen? Shechita b'zar kshera. He told them a non-kohen can do the shechita, which of course we've all learned many times going through all the kochim we did. Right? There are four primary avodot by a korban: shechita, kabbalah of the blood in a vessel, hoilacha, you have to walk it over to the mizbech, and zrika. So shechita, kabbalah, hoilacha, zrika. Once zrika of the blood is done, the korban's done. You've had kapara. Now, the fats, the chaylev and the avorim have to be burned. Let's say if it's a shlomim, we eat the meat. Now, if it's an ola, everything is put on. But by a shlomim, only the inner fats, the chaylev, laksolim, all that is burned, and that can go on at night. Now, by the way, if you don't burn it, it's not ma'akev. Once you did zrika, the bailim have kapara. Okay. Now, we know, we've learned, that shechita is kosher bizarre. A non-kohen can shech the animal. A kohen has to do the kabbalah. From kabbalah ve'elech, it has to be.
You can do one of the four. One of the four they can do basically.
Only shechita, only the first one. Okay. So and Shmuel knew that halacha. We'll see how he knew that halacha. Aisula kamei to Eli. They brought him in front of Eli. Amrle menalachaha. What do you mean? How do you know that? Amrle miksiv v'shachat hakohen. It doesn't say in the parsha there in Vayikra. It doesn't say the kohen shech. It says vikriva kohen. See. And mikabala ve'elech mitzvahs kahuna. Mikan l'shchita shekshera v'zar. That's what Shmuel quoted to him. Omer le'meimer shaper ka'amrit. You said good. Miu moira alochem v'fnei rabchad. Yeah, but I'm the shoifet. You quoted this halach in front of me. V'chol amar alochem v'fnei rabbo chayv misa. The mother heard what was going on. Asi chana v'katzavcha kamei. Chana screamed, Ani ayisha nitzevasi mochem. No. I prayed for this kid. So the Eli said, Amrle Shafkili, forget him. The Ansh, let me punish him. Ube'ina rachmi al davin ve'yav l'charabah mineh, and you'll have another child greater than him. Amrle, no, elanar hazeh ispalalti. That's the hanar hazeh. I want Shmuel. So now we understand the pasuk much better.
And it's amazing because it brought down. I don't know. I mean, there's some shot I'm sure I've never seen the Gemara on it. That Shmuel was 3 years old when she brought him to.
Right. Right. Well, Rivka was also 3 years old. Okay. V'chani hi medaber salipa. Chana was talking to her about her heart. Amra b'laz mishum Yosef ben Zimra. Al iske liba amra. She was talking about her heart on subject matter. Amra l'fan Rabbanu Shalom kol masha barasa be'isha lo barasa davar echad levatala. Whatever you create in a woman, it's all for purpose. Einayim liros, oznayim lishmoa, choitem lariach, the nose to smell, pele daber, yadayim lasos b'malacha, hands to work, raglayim lahalach behem, dadim, breasts lahanik behem, to nurse, dadim alolish nosata, alibi. That's the liba, because right, that's the pasuk says medaber saliba. Chana was talking about her heart, not really about her heart, her chest, mamish, her chest, her breasts, because she was basically telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I need a child. You gave everything you created for a purpose, but I need a child to fulfill the purpose of my breasts. Right? Halosh nasata libi lama lo lahanik bahen. Not to nurse with it. Tainli ben v'anik ben. Give me a child and I will nurse with them. V'amar Elazar mishum Rav Yosef ben Zimra kol Yosef b'tainis b'Shabbos korei lo gzardino shel shivim shana. Now, are we allowed to fast on Shabbos? Usually not.
Except for the time.
You have a tainis chalom, which is a bad dream of so there, and if you can fast on Shabbos. Now the din is going to be you have to make up. Now what about Oinig Shabbos? You have a din of Oinig Shabbos. By fasting, you're wording Oinig Shabbos. So the din is if you fasted on Shabbos, you got to choose another day to fast for the fact that you fasted on Shabbos. More, we learn from this halacha. Now, by the way, fasting on Shabbos is a huge thing because you have this big chulin you're smelling and a kugel, and you hold yourself back. So it's as if you fasted for 70. No, they rip up a gzardin that might be against you for 70 years. I feel in Nixar minu urav lefisha tainis kosher b'Shabbos lefisha kol misagnim bo. It means even if this gzardin is sitting there for 70 years, it could be wiped up. Aval pikchein choizer v'nifrom imenu din oinik Shabbos. Yeah, but you violated oinik Shabbos. So maita kante. How do you resolve that? You have to fast another fast to make up for the fast that you did on Shabbos. Chana didn't daven. She fought with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. She made legal arguments against him. Shenemar, vatispalel al Hashem. She didn't say vatispalel el Hashem. Al Hashem, right? She threw things at him. Amar Blazer. Who else did that? Eliyahu tichtvam. That means this whole dialogue she had about the breasts, right? It's like you made me this here. You made me something. Do this for me. Like she was really.
It also sounds a bit like Moshe Rabbeinu.
It's like. So we'll see whether the Gemara says Eliyahu. He tichtvam klabi mal shnemar. The atasi boisa esliba machiranis. Over there, Eliyahu says you were the ones that turned their hearts to avodah zarah. That's what Eliyahu says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In fact, Amar Shmuel by Rav Yitzchak b'nayin shechaz HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'hoidol Eliyahu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu agreed to Eliyahu. D'chsiv va'asher harayosi. In fact, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, "Yeah, I made them bad." So at least in that, and the opinion is correct. There are many examples where Moshe Rabbeinu seems to go to battle with Klal Yisrael, for Klal Yisrael, and seems to be having these major discussions with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay.